receiving lots of emails regarding body language, which is a new science. It is necessary to say that to show and to prove the myths, we had to recur to kinesics, which is a written form of the scientific study of body language. It's also necessary to clarify that both body language and kinesics are based on the behavioral patterns of nonverbal communication. Before reading the emails, I gotta say also that the point here is to understand that there are two important elements to body language, which are the delivery of the message and the reception of the message, of course. We all, humans, are all of the time showing what we feel through different actions. For example, we can say help me, we can say I'm alone, we can say I'm available, we can say many things, but most of them are not carried out consciously. Well, let's start reading the first email I have here. It says, you can know if a person likes something or someone from the messages sent by their eyes. Well, to understand this, we have to recur to a study that was carried out with some commercials, with some advertisements in which people were observed by some scientists, and they showed at the end that when they liked the commercials, her pupils were widened. So from now on, when you are talking to a person or when you give a present to a person, just pay close attention to the way in which the pupils react. If they widen, so it means that the person is having a pleasant stimuli in that moment. So the myth, I have to say that it is confirmed. The second myth, let me see, it's referred to another topic of the body language. It is exclusively by inheritance that we have languages. Well, interesting question, because Friesen and Sorensen from the National Institute of Neurological Diseases and Blindness found that new research supported Darwin's old belief. The belief is that we born with the elements of a nonverbal communication. It is true that we are not taught how to express hate, how to express happiness, and many other emotions that's inherited. But that's nonverbal communication. That's not all the language we express to other people, or it's not the only way in which we communicate to them. So I have to say also in here in that part that we need to pay close attention to other types of or other ways in which we are also stimulated to learn or to acquire a language, which is the culture, which is the context itself. So we can say that unfortunately this is not true. Just to avoid any possible contradiction, I want to cite also Dr. Hall, which studies or who coined the concept of proxemics, which analyzes the zones in which people express themselves and in which they get closer to some people, or the way they get away or go away from other persons. Depending on the if it's a public conversation, or if it is a more intimate, the person is gonna be closer or farther. And now we can move to the final myth. This myth says, shaking our head from side to side always means no. If it's pretty known that these are international nods, in which when we move our head from up to down, we say yes, and when moving it from one side to another, it means no. There is something that happens in India in which they do this different movement, which is like this. This movement can be misunderstood by some people meaning that movements like a no, but this is not true, because it means yes, and depending on the way in which, or the speed in which you move, like those Indian people do, they can give more convincement to the affirmation, or a simple yes and no more. So the myth is totally false, because not all these movements from side to another side means no. This is an extra myth I wanted to show you, because I felt a little bit identified with this. It says, what often happens in a relationship is that language itself becomes a mask and a means of clouding and confusing the relationship. Spoken language itself sometimes is a great obscurer, because the spoken word can act as a deterrent to the truth. Sometimes you want to say something, but at the end you mean a different thing, and the person doesn't get the real message you wanted to communicate. People like me, for example, that have some troubles to express sometimes emotions to other people, or to, for example, to a classmate, or to express about different feelings to maybe to a couple. This kind of people also have kind of troubles when trying to say what they feel. The point here is that most of the time when the words are silent and when the communication is not verbal, you can pay more attention to the non-verbal expressions, which most of the time, as you can imagine, as you can think, they express more than words. So in this sense, I have to say that this is plausible, considering the way in which the person expresses, or in which the person communicates better. Before finishing this episode, I have to say that it was really surprising to me to find out how people use masks to hide the real personality behind what is shown to the other persons. I'm really surprised with the fact that after passing lots of time, there are more difficulties for a person to take off that mask. Sometimes when people are really exhausted at the end of the day, is when you can really feel, or when people can show the real feelings. That was for me something really surprising, or something to consider in next episodes, in which we will have a special participant in here. Just to finish, pay attention also in next time in which you are going to play a poker match, because you have to try to hide your eyes, your pupils, from the rest of the people, not to allow them to see the widening of your pupils.